Peace to the family. Peace to the family. I haven't been live in a while. It's been a minute for all my brothers out there. Just got back from the gym. Figured I'd tap in with the family, see what's happening with y'all. And I got a message from my brothers and sisters if you're watching this on a repeat. So, God is testing you. And that's big facts, brothers and sisters. Right now, more than ever, I'm seeing it so clearly. I'm seeing like a huge divide between men, women, and children. Everybody right now seems like they're losing their mind. There's a lot of people going through depression, anxiety. There's a lot of people battling right now. And this message is about the test that we're going to endure as men and women. So before I get started, I want to tell a quick story. Like, I just left the gym right now. And, it's funny because when you become spiritually awakened, you can start seeing those individuals that are operating on a higher frequency. So there's this girl, I used to see her around. She's a beautiful red bone. I ain't gonna lie. She looked like Beyonce, bro, from the face. But her face, like before, she used to walk around with these like mean, like just mean, you know what I'm saying? Like angry looks. And I always see her around and she would see me because like I'm tall, bro. I don't know if you guys know on my channel, I am 6'5". I'm a bigger dude. So I just stand out naturally and I vibrate on a high frequency. 9 times out of 10, I'm on semen retention. So I be feeling good. So I saw her before, but today and specifically, she had this glow to her, bro. Like it was like a glow. I'm not even gonna lie. Like her face was just shining. Like, so I told her, I walked up to her, I'm like, hey, I don't mean to interrupt your workout, but I've been seeing you around. You made a lot of progress. I said, you lost a lot of weight. On top of that, you got a glow. And she's like, really? She was cheesing. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I like it. I'm liking the vibe. She's like, thank you. I saw you around plenty of times too. And I'm saying the same thing for you. And I was like, I just, this might be a random question, but are you spiritual? And she was like, yeah, I am. Cause I saw she had a cross. She had a cross on. And she's like, yeah, I am. She's like, you know what? I get that sense from you too. And then we were just small talking, but it just goes to show you when you're moving on a higher frequency and you're tapped in with God, you can kind of feel when women and men are moving on a higher frequency. So that was just a quick story. I just wanted to start off with that. And so let's get to this main topic. God is testing you. So right now, if you're watching this, maybe on a repeat, you might be going through a battle. You might be feeling some type of depression, anxiety. You might be hurting. You might be down. You may be battling financial struggles. Maybe it's something financial. You don't have money and you've been praying, you've been asking God to come in and intervene. And I think a lot of us, we start to lose faith. We start to lose sight. And there's a reason why men are needed. I always speak about this, bro. My foundation is centered on God. And a lot of people might not like it, but I think, especially right now, more than ever, we need God in our life. It's clear to see when your spirit's broken, when you're really down, when you're sad, when you're depressed, a lot of us, we need something outside of ourselves because we're not strong enough. How many times have you tried to go out here and battle it yourself and you've just given up or you wanted to quit or that dark fog has just came in and overcame you? And, a lot of us don't talk about this either, but I want to say this, bro. A lot of men, they will cry. And, a lot of times, a lot of us will shame other men for crying and say that you're weak and you're beta for doing that. But when you're alone, I've talked to so many men when they're alone, they're crying, bro. So a lot of people are really specifically right now because I think we're going through a spiritual, it's just a divide. I'm seeing it often where I see men, they're really sad. They're just sad, man. And you can just see it in their eyes. They call it the discernment. When you have spiritual eyes and your eyes are open, you can see when men and women are sad. And that's why I started off with that story, because you start to see those individuals that are operating with the God spirit. So I have to speak about this. At any channel and any people that don't focus on God, I don't truly think that that's something that we need to continue to move forward in society, because without a solid foundation of something outside of ourselves, majority of us are going to get egotistical. Majority of us are going to be selfish. Majority of us are going to be narcissistic. And it's clear to see in society. You know what I mean? It's just clear to see. And like I said, I mean, I talk big talk on my stuff too, but that's part of masculinity. But at the end of the day, I'm still solid in my foundation of God, and I still pray and I fast and I meditate. So I think when we're talking about the tests that we're going to endure, especially as people that operate with God in our lives, you have to understand that this is going to be a battle. It's just spiritual warfare on a daily basis, because this society, and I think honestly, I hate to put this out into the world, but I think I have been shadow banned to a certain extent, because my channel was growing and I see like my consistency going down, which is really not about that. I really don't care, because I know there's still people that are hearing my messages, and it's more so about me doing God's work. But I think it's clear to see in society that most people, when you talk about God, they don't want to hear it. And that's okay. We're going to keep pushing, we're going to keep moving, and we're going to keep grooving. But if you know that this world is trying to stop you, and it's really trying to put you into position, especially as a man, especially that's why I said men are needed. You got to think this channel, when I started this channel, I had a vision from God. So like without God, I don't even think I would be able to have the courage to do this. I would think I would be a coward. And that's a good point. It's kind of like a transition, but I think too many of us as men live in fear. I think that's a problem that I'm seeing with most men. We know we have dreams. We know we have goals. We know we have things that we want to do in our life. But for some reason, we get stuck in this rat race and we get stuck in fear, or we make excuses. There's so many excuses that we can make, because I was just talking to my homie yesterday, and I'm like, hey, bro, what's stopping you from doing the things that you want to do? Because he was saying how he's broke. I'm gonna be honest, bro. He's broke. He ain't got no money in the bank. He's working 2 jobs. He's paying child support. His baby mama's like giving him a real hard time. So his mindset's completely down. He's depressed. He's anxious. He doesn't see any way out of it. And that's why I told him, like, bro, when you're living in a day-to-day grind and you're not seeing any way out of it, and you've been trying to do it by yourself, and it's obviously not working, you know that this is a battle. You need to start operating in faith. That's the only thing that I know will work, because it's worked personally in my life. And sometimes people don't like hearing, because then you come across like you're preaching to them. And I try not to take that approach 9 times out of 10, because I know most people aren't willing to hear it if they don't have God, because sometime in their life they may have reached out to God, they may have asked God to come in, and God didn't hear them, so they thought. But a lot of times, and I speak about this often, it comes down to faith. If your faith is not strong enough, you will lose sight of this. And that's why when you look at the Bible, even let's just look at all religions in general, a lot of them will typically have some type of fasting inside of it, because what the thing is, like, our food will lower our vibrations, bro. There's a reason why I speak about semen retention, because that is putting you on a higher frequency. There's a reason why I talk about your consciousness and just allowing yourself to be grounded in this earth, because the moment that your brain starts moving and going a whole bunch of different directions, that's the moment that you're not present and being able to listen to God. So many people ask me, how do you know when God's spirit's talking to you? And I tell them, a lot of times you got to first be quiet enough. If you're not silent enough to hear God, God's not going to talk to you. You know what I mean? Because if you're going home, you're watching TV, and then you're eating junk food, all these foods, and I think I need to start, I think I'm going to start making videos and taking it back to the basics about just allowing our vibration to rise, so that the food that we eat, bro, there's a lot of preservatives in this. We gotta take a more holistic approach here at Men Are Needed, because I'm starting to see that a lot of us, we're not taking action, and that's what I'm saying. But a lot of that could be the foods that we're eating, and if you're not grounded in meditation and just giving some self love, bro, you need to love yourself. It's important for you to take time out of your day and just do the things that you enjoy with your life. And that's what I'm saying. It's a test, because if for the majority of us, we're going to go to work. Our school, there's a lot of young brothers that are tapped into this community. A lot of us are waking up. We might be eating some swine. We're eating bacon, you know what I mean? And then we're hopping on our phone. We're going to school. This school is programming us, just like the job is programming us to fit in, be a good boy, be a good boy, do what you're told. And so our creativity and our imagination is being lost in the process. So when I tell you, what's your dream, what's your goal, you have no dream, you have no goal, because you have no creativity, because you're stuck in an 8 hour window where you're either going to school or you're going to work. And when you come home, you don't have enough energy to give back to yourself, and you're not doing things that you enjoy that are bringing you peace and bringing you happiness. And then you're not operating with God. So this is the test in itself, because a lot of times there's a reason why when you go to school, you're being tested on the information. You're being taught things, and then you're being tested. So this is what God would do to you. God will give you information. And if anybody's watching this, even on replay, there's some people tapped in now. This information is being passed to you. So when you get knowledge, that it's knowledge is important and wisdom is important for us, specifically as men and women, but more particularly men, because men are supposed to be leaders. Men are supposed to be stoic. Men are supposed to be the next generation that will lead us to where we need to be in civilization. So that's why I specifically focus on men, and then we trickle down to women. And I think I'm gonna start incorporating just slightly more message with women, because more women have been tapped in. But generally, when we're speaking about the information that you're absorbing, if I'm teaching you things and God's giving you lessons, that's the test. Because if there's a lot of people, they've been told to do certain tasks in their life. For instance, I use myself as this. If God gave me this message and told me to create Men Are Needed so that one brother could hear a message, take action in his life, go out there and pursue his purpose, have a vision, tap in, and truly understand that he's powerful, he's amazing, and he can accomplish great things, that in itself is powerful, because God will give me this message and then I'm speaking it. But let's say I took a different path. Let's say that I didn't. I heard God, he said, create men are needed, go out there, go alive, talk to my brothers. And I said, no, I'm fearful. What if these people judge me? What if my channel doesn't grow? And all this discouragement creeps in, all this fear creeps in, and all this anxiety creeps in. And then I'm not getting any views. And then, so all these things are being tested by me. So if I fail that test, with me specifically, I think what happens as men too is we fail that test, and then we get more down in the depressed thoughts, because that's when I believe, me specifically, I think that's when Satan comes in and he'll start to torment your mind. I think that's when a lot of us get tormented, because then we feel down because we didn't take action. And I think that's why I say you got to take action, bro. It's important for us. So when God's testing you, he wants to know what you're made out of. God is truly, he's looking for soldiers, bro. He's looking for people to rise up. And that's why I think men are needed. That's what I say, we need to rise. I say this a lot in my videos. We need to rise, we need to win, and we need to become the men that God wants us to be. But how do we do that? That's the question I ask a lot of people. How do we get to this point? And so many men say, I don't know, I don't have nothing. I'm just tapped out, bro. I want to give up. I want to quit. But that's not how we need to be as men, bro. We got to get that fighter spirit back. We got to get that warrior spirit back. We got to truly be able to unite. And I think that's a problem too. We're not having any unity. So a lot of times there's a reason why brotherhood and accountability is important for us as men, especially when you know you're being tested. I know if I'm being isolated, Satan wants to keep you separate so that you're not getting the word from Albert. You're not getting Men Are Needed. You're not getting other brothers that are part of the community that tap in, that leave messages and telling you that you can truly rise up and win. So when you don't have those positive, inspirational brothers surrounding you, of course you're going to not want to take action. Of course you're going to truly feel like a failure. Of course you're going to feel like a loser. But a lot of this is just knowledge, bro. A lot of us, and the Bible says that, man, we suffer because of lack of knowledge. We suffer because we don't want to learn about the right foods to eat. We don't want to learn how to discipline ourselves. We don't want to learn how to truly invest in our communities so that we can help each other out, so that slowly we can rise as community. I think change is important. I think too many of us get stuck and we don't want to truly go out here and make a true impact in society. What man, I don't really understand why men, they don't want to leave an impact, and they don't want to leave a legacy, and they don't want to leave their mark on this world. Why not create something, even if it's just you're leaving something to look forward to for the future generations? I think that's important, because there's so many men that I know have big, powerful dreams, but they're just afraid to do it. They just don't understand that their lack of God is keeping them from getting to the point that they need to be. Without having God centered, you're not going to get to where you need. It's just facts, bro. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of these people that are at the top, they understand the importance of God. They understand that without some type of God coming into your life, and they might use different words. They might use spirituality. They might use consciousness. They might use frequency. But all is the light that I'm referring to. It's the frequency that God gives you. That's love. When you're truly operating in love, you feel it, bro. You know what I mean? You know, when you're feeling love, that state is allowing you to go after the things that you want to do. So if you know you're being tested, if you know that God is trying to give you a dream, why not go after it? Why not start? And then we overcomplicate it because we think it's too big. And that's why, like, if you look at the story of Moses, bro, that's what Moses was doing. He was wandering around for 40 years, just going this way, going that way, because he was fearful. And me personally, I hate fear, bro. I hate the fact that I hate it so much. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I hate feeling fear. I hate that. So I do it. It's like I gotta do it, bro. Like, let's do it. Let's go. What you want to do? Like, let's make that move right now. If I'm feeling fear, if I'm afraid to go talk to that girl, I'm gonna go talk to that girl just to get my brain to where I need it to be. You know, you got to get out of your comfort zone. And that's the problem. Too many of us live in a comfort zone. We're just stuck. Oh, I'm too scared to make money. I'm too scared to talk to that girl. I'm too scared to go after my dreams. I'm too scared to truly become the man that God wants me to be. Who does God want you to be? And that's the question you need to ask yourself. So many people say, well, Albert, how do I get to where I can truly have my dream and understand my talents and my gifts? I think if you're a man watching this, even women, your gifts could sometimes be the fact that you have empathy for people. How many people do not have empathy? And I believe that's a trait from God, is understanding. If I can truly understand you without judgment, that's powerful, bro. And we might sometimes overlook that trait, but that's a gift. That's a talent. That is something that's needed in society. Now, if we expand upon that and we look at the things that you specifically might be good at, but you're not thinking that it's valuable, it is, brother. God built you and designed you in a unique way for you to go out into this world and have a specific purpose. Now, you have to take time to explore that, though. And that's why I don't think a lot of us as men, we don't take the time and we don't take the actions necessarily to tap into who we are so that we can truly go out and provide value. Too many people get caught up in these jobs. You get caught up in that woman, you get caught up in lust, you get caught up in, eating these foods. And that's what I'm saying. It's important for you to just take time for you. Who are you? Ask yourself that question. Who am I and who do I want to become? And how do I become that? And what can I do in this moment to truly operate with a new mindset? And that's why the Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's one of the most powerful verses. And people overlook that and they think it's just, oh yeah, I just got to renew your mind. But when the Bible's talking about that, they're talking about that on a daily basis. The moment you wake up, you have to do that because this world will keep you in so many different directions. There's so many different thoughts that you're going to have, and you might not be able to control them sometimes because you might be down because somebody just gave you bad news. You might have a health issue. You might not be having money. There's so many different things that we get caught up when we're living in this dimension, in this reality. But that's why I say God should be the center of who we are. And that's why I say when you're being tested, are you going to pass it? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. And all of us are being tested in one way. I know I'm being tested on a daily basis. My test right now, and I'm gonna be honest, is I'm getting so much caught up in this matrix. It sucks so much because you see, when I know somebody out here can relate to this, you have the spiritual eyes and the spiritual knowledge to see what's happening in this world, and you see so much pain, you see so much trauma, you see so many people hurting themselves intentionally, unintentionally, and you see so many people not wanting to tap into the true potential. And I see how if we just came together and we united and we just tried our best, this whole world would change overnight. So my test is to try to stay firm in what God wants me to do and try to help people out that are suffering so much. Man, I see so much suffering, bro. And a lot of these, I don't truly talk about it 100%. Maybe I should, because there's so many stories just my homies when I'm talking to people out and about where they're giving me stories. And it's like, I feel like I'm a therapist to a certain extent, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just haven't went to therapy school and got them those man-made degrees. But so many people are giving me information. They're telling me what's happening in their life, and I'm just offering a different perspective. When you go to therapy, that's all a therapist is generally doing. They're just giving you a different perspective of what's happening. So you might see it one way, and your conscious, your awareness is just seeing it in this one way, this one dimension. And I might come in and say, for instance, I'll give you an example. Like, let's say you're going to your job or you're going to school, and you're saying, well, right now, I don't have enough energy to do the things that I want. I'm not learning anything. And God's keeping me behind because he wants me to go to school. And then what if I came in and said, well, what if God is putting you through this right now so that you can use your motivation and your drive and pray to him so that you can have enough courage and energy to do the things that you need to do outside of when you're at school, when you're at your job. So that could be the test in itself. God wants to see if you're going to have the energy to do the things that are necessary when he's not around, when he's not motivating. And a lot of this is just you have to motivate yourself. That's what I'm saying. So that perspective switch, and it's simple. Sometimes it's just a simple perspective switch that's allowing you to see things differently. And that's what I'm saying. That's all therapy is, bro. So if we have different perspectives, if we have just a switch in our brain that allow us to go through these tests and understand that it's a test and think, what can I learn from this, bro? Let's say you're going through a child support battle right now with your baby mama. What can you learn from this? Let's say that you're truly lonely. You have no friends. You have no woman. Nobody wants to be around you. Nobody wants to be in your presence. And you're just truly down right now. What lessons can be taught so that you can truly think about in this moment? I know God is testing me, but am I going to stay here forever? No. I know in times in my life there was highs and there was lows. I know God was testing me. He was seeing what I was truly made out of. And right, if you can make it, bro, if you can make it, those blessings are coming your way. That new level, those new dreams, those new inventions, that new inspiration, that new motivation is about to come to you, but you have to endure this test. And a lot of people don't like when you tell them it's a test, but that's the only way that I see it. I just don't. I've analyzed this, bro. I've been through so much pain. I've been through so much hurt in my life. I've been down, and I've been to a true low point. And when I was at that point, there was I could only think about it. There was a test. You know what I'm saying? I was going through child support cases. My daughter was being taken away from me, and I just prayed to God, and I said, "Well, God, if this is what you want me to go through, then I have to have the right mindset. I have to have the proper perspective. Because if I don't, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, bro. And a lot of you men can relate to this. You want to crash out and you just want to you just say F the system. I'll go to war with everybody in here, because you have to understand the majority of this world is demonic. The majority of this world, if you're a godly man, there's a reason why you're going to endure so much pain. You're going to endure so much suffering, and you're going to be hurt. A lot of us that are quote unquote chosen are just operate with God. We experience so much hurt and pain and suffering, and it hurts our hearts, bro. And that's what I'm saying. You might be told, just shut up, suck it up, just be a man. And that approach sometimes is not effective. And there's some men, and I think that's where we get it wrong in our communities, especially in the men community. And I don't like to consider myself manosphere or nothing like that. I like to be unique, bro. I have my own unique approach on this, because I know there's one brother that I could take that approach and it might be effective with him, but there's another brother, if you take that approach, that's going to make him ball up and go back in a shell, and it's going to give him more depressive thoughts, because he can't handle that. He's already been through much pain. He's already had too much trauma. Maybe his father or stepfather or his, a brother or somebody already told him that. So that's just sparking that trauma in his brain, and it's keeping him even more down. And I think that's where we get it wrong. Now, like I said, there's two different approaches that we can take when we're talking about men growing and evolving and truly understanding that they need to become more. But if I just keep coming on here and I just keep yelling at you, which I see some men do that, they just yell at men and they think that men, that's not going to make men get better. But if I can empathize with you and if I can relate to you, if I can understand where you're at and I'm relatable to you, that may be more effective for some people. And I think that's where we get it wrong in our communities because we don't understand that everybody learns differently. Even if you take the school approach, there's some people that might be quote unquote have learning disabilities, but they don't have true learning disabilities. They're just being taught in a way that's not truly allowing them to grasp the information. So if they're telling you, you got to just retain, if I'm telling you over and over, you got to memorize this, but your memory doesn't work in just remembering information, you got to truly be hands-on, or you got to imply things, you got to be hands-on and then get the knowledge. That's different ways of learning. And that's how God tests you. He knows that you're separate than me. He knows that you're different than me. So he'll test you in a different way than me, but we can still have the same experiences. We might still be able to be relatable. And like, for instance, if you're going through a time to where you're lonely and you're down and you're truly feeling so sad because nobody wants to be around you, and I'm going through the same experience, but I'm having people that are around me, but they're fake. They're not my real homeboys. They're just trying to plot on me. They're just, maybe I have money. Maybe I have, I'm the quote unquote life of the party, but I actually feel like I'm alone because nobody's truly showing me love. We have the same experience, but it's different. You get what I'm saying? You're truly lonely, but I'm lonely too because nobody can be around me. Nobody's showing me love. And that's why I think these conversations need to be had. And I think I need to speak on this more too. And I've been sitting back just asking God to give me ways to be more valuable to us as men so that I can understand where we're coming from and I can truly leave a legacy for us and allow us to grow and this community to grow, because I think we need it. When I'm not on social media that much. And me specifically, I do hate social media because a lot of it's so negative. A lot of our world is negative in general. A lot of people just post negative stuff. A lot of people support negative stuff. So when I hop on, I want to be a spark. I want to give you a different perspective. I want to challenge you. I want to get you to get better. I want to motivate you. I want to inspire you. I'm coming on here with something that will enlighten you or give you enough positive motivation so that you can go out and feel good about yourself. Because if we don't feel good, how can we truly evolve and get better? That's just the question I ask myself often. How can we get better as men? What things can we do for us collectively to get stronger, for us collectively to rise? Now, a lot of us, we want to talk about women, we want to talk about dating, and I think that's a conversation that need to be had too. But I think it's centered around the test that God is giving you. That's why I speak a lot of times about you developing your character, your masculinity, your power, you being the man, you understand that you can become something with yourselves. How do we become more? How do we become more effective? How do we become great leaders? These are the things that I'm going to start exploring moving forward because I want to create you to be a leader. And then if we're both leaders, bro, we can go out and conquer this world. Me and you together can unite, join forces, and we're truly unstoppable at this point. But this world doesn't want that to happen. So they'll rather give you these negative vibrations, this negative music, this negative food for you to live in jealousy so you can't truly tap in with Albert when men are needed. We can't build a bond and truly take over. The moment I say, let's take over, people get shook, people get scared. But that's why I said there's one man that takes a brave stand is powerful, bro. One man that'll stand up and stand on business and stand for something. That's what we need more of. And I know it's difficult because a lot of us go through so much pain. A lot of us have so much trauma. A lot of us been through so many things in our life that we're still trying to heal ourselves. And I want you to heal. And I think it's important for you to heal. And that's why I speak about that often too. But you need God for you to heal, I think, because if they just give you a pill, that's not keeping you to a position where it's healing your spirit. And that's why I think so many men are just lost, bro, because they don't have God tapped in. So how can they truly go out there and conquer if they're not truly having any drive, no motivation, low testosterone? You know what I mean? We got to get our testosterone up too. There's so many different things. It's like, man, when I sit back and I think about it, I'm like, man, our brothers are truly, really hurting, man. I know if you're watching this video too, you probably can relate to what I'm saying. So many of us as men, it's like, man, this is where we're really at. Now, I understand this is war on men. This is war on masculinity. This is war in general. And that's why I say it's a spiritual warfare, though. It's truly spiritual. I don't see no other way around it. And that's why I try to enlighten as much people as I can, because I think that's what God is looking for right now. I think God is looking for more soldiers. I think God is calling you. I think God is calling me. I think together, if we build up this kingdom of God, the sky's the limit. I just need you to truly heal and evolve and keep finding your purpose and don't allow anything to stop you. I think I've seen it. I've seen it, man. I don't really want to put people out like that specifically because there's some people that be tapped into my community. But I think when I tell people, look, man, you were born for greatness. You were designed for something more. You go after it, but then you realize that this is not going to be an easy process. This is going to be more difficult than you thought. You weren't truly anticipating everything that was going to come with it. And that's why I started this, and I'm going to end with this. God is testing you. God is testing you to see if you're truly worthy of that next blessing, that next level in your life. If you're truly ready to elevate, you got to pass this test first, brother. You got to truly show God that you're worthy of this blessing that's coming your way. So together we will rise. Together we going to change. Tap in with me. Leave a comment. Thanks for everybody watching this video. It's a quick message from my brothers. We going to win this test. We're going to keep striving for greatness on a daily basis. There's more to come. I think I'm going to start going live at least once a week. I'm going to try to. That's the plan. You know what I'm saying? I just got to put some things in order for us. I got a lot of things in store, man. This is just the beginning. This is preseason. We're just getting warmed up, baby. We going on the basketball court. We're about to start hitting that shot from Steph Curry, like long range from, you know what I'm saying? We going from the half court. That's what we just warming up, you know what I'm saying? So thanks for watching this video. Until next time. Peace, brothers.